Subscribe to According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all other platforms.
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of having one of my good friends. He's a professional fighter, and to answer his Instagram story question, he's, at least the best of my knowledge, not a real estate agent. Although he can do it, he can totally do it, but he's the one and only Ronald Scolesdang. What's going on, Ron?
What's cracking, man? It's good to see you. I totally thought we were podcasting this whole time until just right now.
Well, so, okay, just to give you guys a little bit of a peek behind the curtain, I always encourage everybody like 5 to 10 minutes before, because obviously people have different devices. Some people use laptops, some people use tablets, or their phone, like Ron is doing. So, you know, the internet receptions and all that stuff can be kind of spotty at best. So, like, 10 minutes is a good kind of window before the podcast to kind of figure and flesh everything out. What say you, Ron?
Yeah, I am on my cell phone driving, so making sure that I don't get in a car accident while giving you my utmost attention and focus.
See, the consummate mixed martial artist he is. My goodness, my man. So, I mean, since you're taking us on the road, like, where exactly are you, good sir?
I am leaving Mission Viejo, heading towards Tustin AirPods so I can hear more clearly, and then hang out with you guys for a bit until I go back to the gym and then go back to work.
Wow. So, I mean, theoretically speaking, for those who are not familiar with Orange County, so you're almost like South Orange County, California, almost on the border of North County, San Diego, right? In Mission Viejo.
Yeah, it's a bit far, yeah.
Damn, dude. So, okay, so let's get into it, man. I mean, a young Ron Scolesdang. How does he begin this? Hey, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. You're all of 27. Good Lord.
Almost 27. Where the heck did you get that?
Hey, hey, if it's a lie, don't tell nobody.
Is this age or how old I act? Because I definitely act younger than 27.
Okay, all right. So 23 and a half. Happy birthday, Mazel Tov, good sir.
I was thinking like 12, 13, but okay.
Okay. I might have matured you a little bit, kind of age you as I don't know. There's this thing called antiquing where you throw like powder on somebody's baby powder in somebody's face, and you call them like antique and ancient. I think that's what I did with you, verbally.
Oh, well, thank you.
No worries. Sharing is caring because I'm old as shit as well. So anyway, but dude, I mean, obviously, traveling, right? You're traveling, you know, to meet the needs of your family, traveling to meet the needs of your career, right? You know, so how did it all begin?
As far as fighting goes, or just life?
Whatever one you want to figure out.
We'll start with fighting. So about 16 years ago, I was watching TV and I saw the first season of The Ultimate Fighter. So I was in high school at the time. And, you know, for me, I do everything on impulse. I'm an impulse doer. And then I also am very extreme with everything that I do. So when I do something, I go all in. And so I saw this episode and I just loved it. It just hit close to home to me, even though I've never practiced martial arts or watched fighting or UFC or anything. I just saw Ultimate Fighter, watched all the episodes, and I was like, I won't do that. And then so at the time, Yahoo was the popular search engine.
Yes.
And so I Yahoo'd, you know, MMA gym, and I found one close to me. And so I drove up to there. I signed up. I trained, and then I've been training every day since then. Yeah, and it's pretty much been my life, and it turned into my career, which I don't think happens too often. So I've been grateful that I've been able to just find something that went from a whim to a dream to now just living it. So it's been a cool ride.
That is absolutely cool. Nate Wren of Podium Sports says LOL. So I think in terms of our comments of us being kind of immature at times in terms of candor.
Yeah, it's bless you.
Oh, thank you.
It's definitely not the coolest story in how I got into fighting, but pretty much I got into fighting from watching The Ultimate Fighter. I fanned out, and then I wanted to do it forever, and then now here I am still doing it.
Well, that's the cool thing about it, right? Making a pact with yourself, and I'm like, hey, like I think I might do that, and it's crazy, right? So you say you're impulse guy. I literally have a sauna to stage left. Like I just like I saw it and I was like, hey, that might look cool, despite the fact that I live in an apartment. So
live life.
yeah, man. And Nate says Ron is the multitasking king. 100%. 100%. I can't disagree with you more. But I mean, and
What up, Nate?
Ken goes, train hard, fight easy, brother. No, 100%. 100%. So, okay. So, I mean, obviously, was it the first season that you kind of you jumped in on of the Ultimate Fighter?
Yep, it was literally the very first season, the Forrest Griffin and Stefan Bonner season. So I saw it just popped up. I think at the time it was on Spike TV or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw, I was like, ooh, that looks cool. And then so I watched it and I was like, dude, that looks really cool. I could do that. And at the time I was in high school, I was playing football, and I'm like a little Asian guy. I think I was like 5'1" or 5'2" at the time. And I was like lifting weights and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'm small and strong. I could do this, et cetera, et cetera. And so I did it, and it was my weightlifting didn't help at all, like didn't help whatsoever. I got my butt kicked for like 3 months until I was like, oh, if I do this, maybe I'll get hit less, like keep my hands up. Though it's been an ongoing issue for the past 16 years, but that's a whole nother story. But after 3 months, I finally got kind of like the some sort of comfortability, and then that's when I kind of started seeing some progress.
I think it's brilliant. And here we go. I mean, we're breaking earth-shattering news here at According to Woods, because I did not know this until Ron Scolesdang said it. But you're Asian? You don't say. What?
Huh?
What?
Who told you? Who? Unbelievable.
I know, unbelievable. My goodness. So, I mean, literally, like, and Ken says, message me later. No, definitely going to hit up those DMs, good sir. So I got you. But, okay, so you're training, I mean, you're playing and training in football, right? And then you're like, I think I can do that. And I'm going to figure out a gym.
Point, by the way, that's exactly how I sounded.
I might have jumped into the DeLorean right before this episode to kind of get the vocal stylings of Ron Scolesdang at 16. And, I do my research. And again, the budget here at According to Woods is pretty fucking high.
That's you should get into impersonating. I think you got something.
Hey, there you go. But I mean, I'm impersonating an actual journalist. So, I mean, I think I'm fucking doing that pretty well.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
No, so okay, so obviously, in football at 16, see the Ultimate Fighter, and do you, again, because Nate Wren said you're the king of multitasking, did you start training in MMA, kind of consecutively with your football training, or did you give up one for the other?
Yep. Well, as soon as after the third month, I decided, I was like, damn, I freaking really, really like this. And then so like I was with my football team since freshman year. So I was with, and when you join a team, it's like family, same thing with joining a dojo or a gym. And so I ended up quitting my senior year, told them I wouldn't be returning. And it was, I freaking cried, I don't cry very much. I don't cry that often. Not saying I'm super tough or anything like that or macho, but I usually don't cry that much. Oh no, my phone is overheating. Let me turn on the AC. So to cool it down a bit. There. Dude, literally my iPhone is saying iPhone needs to cool down. It's hilarious.
It's because you're hot.
Me,
Is that what it's saying? Is your
no,
iPhone
it's saying
giving
that
you
this
ego
podcast
boost?
is fire.
There we go. 10 points. Oh, we might have.
Oh,
We can
no.
still hear Ron. There you go. So, okay. In
You
terms
can still
of,
hear me?
yeah, perfect. You're tremendous. Now, in terms of
There we go.
looking and seeking out dojos, like what was the dojo that you were like, hey, you put it into the Yahoo machine, and you're like, there was an MMA thing. Like, so what dojo was that? Did you get your teeth in?
Funny enough, it was a place called De La O Jiu-Jitsu, and it was in the same location as I did the Jim Crassler's podcast. Freaking
Yes,
very small world. Super
that's
random.
hilarious.
But yeah, I was at De La Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, right? Isn't that random? And then
Yeah,
even more weird is my training partners at the time, Ron Turner and Casey Halstead. When everybody ultimately went their own paths and left the dojo and either opened up their own gyms or went to different gyms, we ended up working back together like 7-8 years later, because the gym that I'm at now, Team Oyama, circled back up with 10th Planet, which Ron and Casey started, and so we ended up meeting together and working with each other once again, which is kind of crazy with that whole circle thing.
yeah. That's the cool thing about it. And I mean, I guess I have a little bit of a 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu story, but not to the extent of yours, right? So I obviously, in the course of interviewing and doing stuff like this, kind of got in with a lot of the 10 Planet people. I consider them family, as do a lot of gyms, and fighters here. But I went to a 10 Planet party, I think about 4 years ago, right? Like their winter solstice party right here in Hollywood. And then I essentially found my friend Gabriel, and we hadn't seen each other since 6th grade when I moved schools. So, and he was essentially positioned at 10 Planet West LA, but it's crazy. Like, my friend who I hadn't seen since we were 16, no, not even that, like 13, 14. And all these years later, we find each other because of jujitsu, 10 Planet specifically.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how martial arts connects everybody. I mean, I've had multiple stories of just people I haven't seen since elementary school, middle school, like random jobs I've had throughout my life, and they all just ended up at Team Oyama or De La O at some point in time or the other. That's the beauty of martial arts. You see everybody. You see felons, you see lawyers, doctors, astrophysicists, janitors, house moms, house dads, you name it. Like, everybody and almost anybody can do martial arts, and then you end up getting connected through that.
No, absolutely. And yo, shut up, good brother. Hope we get to see you compete soon, brother. Thanks for another awesome interview. Thank you for another awesome subscription and view, my friend. Like, thank you, my brother. Like, sending you like pre-COVID virtual hugs. That's
Oh,
what we're doing here. Yeah.
everybody's so supportive. I love it.
Yes, that's it. That's what we have to do, my man. So, okay, so obviously, training at Jiu-Jitsu, what was your first impression? Obviously, you were on the gridiron, and that's a certain type of intensity, right? I mean, obviously, the guys who compete, become your family, right? You sweat together, you're training together, and actually, to an extent, it's kind of what prepared you for MMA because you're going to do the same thing in your MMA career with your teammates. But what was different about your I guess football life as opposed to your newfound mixed martial arts endeavors?
I would say the difference was it was much more individual focused. I mean, though we are a team, in football you're constantly doing plays and you're running with everybody. I mean, there's a lot of similarities, but I would say the biggest difference is it's definitely a much more of it's a team sport overall, but there's much more of an individual focus because people, like, when it comes down to it, you're locked into a ring or a cage and you're the reflection of the teamwork that's been put in. Whereas in a football sense, everybody's on display. You're locked onto a field with a bunch of other people, your teammates. So I would say that's the biggest difference. So even though they're both what I consider team sports, in the end, how competition goes, at least for the exhibition or whatever, I would say that's the biggest difference for me.
Now, in terms of the training, the actual training, like, was there anything that you brought from the kind of football endeavors that maybe benefited your striking or your agility, maybe cardio or even grappling? Like, was there something that you took to, more easily because you had been in football, or was it completely different mindsets?
Well, I mean, I get all philosophically and stuff like that. But I feel like no matter what background you're from, whether you're from football or you've been playing foosball or you're just a math tutor your whole life, you can take anything and everything from anything and apply it to whatever application that you want. So from football, obviously, I got a lot of explosion. I got a lot of explosive characteristics from that. Some brute strength, which helps to some degree, and then just general athletic abilities that I got fine tuned during my football training.
I think it's great. Now, John Tran says Ron fights like a potato, but I still love him. So shout out to John. I
The
mean,
heck does that even mean?
I don't even know what that means. Are you baked? Are you fried?
Yeah.
Are are you sautéed? Do you are you minced with garlic and onion? Like we need
Tell
a
me. Am
yeah,
I a potatoes
John.
O'Brien?
Yeah, O'Brien, exactly. I mean, a little bit of bell pepper, green pepper. I don't know. I mean,
I think
so
this is turning into a food podcast.
I think so, and that's exactly how we're gonna do it. Oh, he said, "I'm just hungry." Good, good. We need to get John Tran some pho and maybe a side of fries. That's what
Are
we.
you assuming he's Asian because of his last name?
Hey, why are you assuming because I'm half American descendant of slaves and half Fijian that I don't like pho? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Right? Like,
Asians like fried chicken as well.
yes, I know. Fuck, I've got a Jollibee like 10 minutes away from my house. I fucking know this. Ooh,
Jollibee's
buddy.
good, but Popeyes always has a special place in my heart.
And a special place in your belly.
Oh, always. Oh, I'm eating all kinds of food right now.
So, okay, I guess, I mean, not to get too acrimonious, but I mean, you were talking about how, you, Ron Turner, and Casey Halstead, were all under the tutelage of De La O Jiu Jitsu and John De La O, right? So,
Yep.
what, when did you kind of end up leaving? Wow, racism. No, we're not racist. We're not racist at all. Everybody loves pho. Everybody loves fried chicken and watermelon. Even there's no
Wait,
race.
watermelon. Whoa. Now we're
Yeah,
getting
because John says, "Wow,
now
we're
we're getting
racist."
stereotypical here.
No, no. Hey, I like pho. I like noodles. I like pad thai. Like I just sushi. Like it's all. It's all. I mean, different parts of. I don't know. I even like vegan like chicken wings. Like
Now
it's.
now you're getting a little too defensive, Adam. It's starting to sound super racist. I would say just
Well, Shaman Steve buried me out, and he said, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon, Shaman Steve. Love to see you here. Thank you for all your awesome wisdom because you are all things shamanistic things and all of the earth. So love you, my man." But yeah, so leaving. I mean, how long were you at De La O?
I was at De La O Jiu Jitsu for about 7 years.
Okay,
Yeah,
wow.
decent amount of time. And let's see, I think I got my blue belt there.
Woo.
Yes, I'm a slow belt color changer. That's a whole nother story. I was a blue belt for like 15 years.
Really?
Yeah, it's been a bit.
Do tell.
Well, it's just it's weird because for fighters, like at least how our gym or the gyms I've been into, we usually don't take the regular classes, and to get promoted for jiu-jitsu, you got to take jiu-jitsu classes, and so I rarely jump into the regular classes, and I rarely win my fights by submission. I would say if I was like tapping people out in fights and stuff like that, maybe, but most of the wins that I had have been by knockout, and that's not a jiu-jitsu thing. So I would say at the 16, 17-year mark, like about 1 or 2 years ago, I showed up to a 10th Planet belt promotion ceremony, and they freaking called me up. I was like, what? This is weird. I'm like, okay. And then I think they just kind of gave me a pity purple belt because I've been training for so long. They're like, all right, we got to give this guy something. And then that's when I got my purple belt. So I've been a purple belt ever since. But it took about 15, 16 years to get one.
I mean, it's like that Amy Grant song. It takes a little time sometimes, and I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, my goals are different. I mean, for how long I've been training, everybody tells me you should be a black belt by now. But you know, it was my goal was to get as far as I can in MMA. You know, that's always been the primary focus. While I love jiu-jitsu, one of the aspects of training for MMA, my primary focus has always been MMA. So I'm okay being a 15, 16-year purple belt.
I mean, it's good, man. At least you can earn, the next time you compete, you can earn one of these. Yeah. No, it's not mine. It's totally not mine. So what basically happened, right, was Blake Troop. Shout out to him because he's got 8 of these, right? He's like, bro, you start training consistently, you want a Naga title. And for me, I want a Naga title. Medals and everything, that's all cool if you want to be an Olympian and everything like that. I grew up a fan of pro wrestling. There's literally like a Bret Hart action figure there, right? So no wrestlers I knew had medals, right? So I wanted a belt. I wanted a fucking belt. So Naga is what does it, and to get a belt, you have to compete at purple belt level. So I want my purple belt for no other reason than to earn and hopefully compete too and earn one of these.
Heck
and
yeah.
Blake said, hey, once you get yours, you can trade it back in, you know, but this is a cool little mandala of sorts that you can see and visualize. You know, when shit gets tough, you can look at it and be like, that's why I'm doing it.
Heck yeah, man. Go get it done. It's right there. It's right in our backyard. It's right in, I think you get their Naga belt in Vegas, yeah?
Yeah, there was just, yeah.
Let's make some commitment right now. When are you going to get one?
Let's see, 3 years. Let's do 3 years. 3 years.
2023. Hopefully COVID will be over by then.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Fudge.
Hopefully.
Boom. I'm going to check back with you in 2023.
Oh yeah, 100%. Let's keep each other accountable. Which John Tran, he says, now you got to take us out to eat. 100%. Slide in those DMs. Yeah, 2023. We're all having a acai.
No. Fried chicken, pho, and watermelon.
Hell yes!
All at the same time.
Super excited about that. That's not a stigma. Just saying. Yeah. Then John Tran says Ron paid for that purple belt. Hey,
It's getting a little political.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. Now, Shaman Steve asked an interesting question. Do you plan to fight Taylor Farrow in the future? So that was a proposed match that was canceled in 2019. So, I mean, obviously, this is kind of I wouldn't say a rivalry, but a competition against, you know, cross-town contemporaries, right? Taylor basically affiliated with Chad George and Josh Barnett at the CMMA UWF USA kind of contingent, right? And then you are in a super team yourself in Team Oyama, right? So, I mean, is that something that you would consider, you know, because it was canceled last year?
Yeah, of course. I mean, him and I've never even met him. I mean, so we don't have any issue. Yeah, funny enough, right? The circle is so small. We haven't had a chance to actually meet. But yeah, we have no issues or anything like that. It's just two fighters that are trying to fight. We actually got booked to fight twice. And so last year we were booked. Everything was ready. It's effed up. It's been a crazy year. I mean, I have nothing to complain about. Like, so many people in the world have it way worse than I do, you know? But we were scheduled to fight for LXF last year. Posters, tickets sold, everything. Like I sold like 100 tickets already, you know? And then on the way to weigh-ins, the promoter messages me like, hey, the fight's off. Don't show up to weigh-ins. I'm like, ha, ha, ha. I'm like 5 minutes away. And then, you know, he was like, no, I'm serious. The who was it at the time? Andy, the commissioner, or the head dude for CSAC.
Oh yeah, Andy Foster.
Yeah, Andy Foster. And he was like, no, he just shut us down. Like, California literally just shut down all live sporting events. I'm like, what are you talking about? Watch, it's not even on the news yet. And then he's like, don't worry, it will be. I'm dead serious. Do not come to weigh-ins. It's over. And I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, okay, because this is like right in like March time when
March,
like it
yeah,
was kind of things were sketchy, and like it was the same day that they shut down like all the Lakers and stuff like that. Like
yeah,
that's when literally all the sporting events, including mine. And so I got the phone call or the message, and then I was like, mother fudge. And then so I was like, F it, let's go get some soul food. So like my head coach, Colin Oyama, he knows where all the good spots are. And like, that's where we were supposed to go after the weigh-ins. But since it was canceled, we went straight there. We ordered everything. And we pigged out, you know, and then I was supposed to fight this Sunday for Versus Fighting Championship. We got booked again. And we just got the event canceled, what, Tuesday? Tuesday,
yeah.
I got another message from Manalo, the matchmaker, and he was like, "Hey, it's not happening anymore. San Diego got put into purple tier, which is like that weird color tier system for COVID that we have in California now, and so that's supposed to be the worst one. And so shortly afterwards, all live events got shut down again. So Taylor and I were supposed to fight again this Sunday, and ended up getting scratched because of COVID again.
What?
Yes,
That's
effed up.
that's kind of like the Habib Tony Ferguson. Like,
Yeah, I'd rather trip over a power cord than get stopped due to COVID. Like, mother fudge, man. At least it was something like funny to talk about. But literally, I don't even have to do a long explanation. Every time they say what happened, all I have to say is COVID, COVID, and they're like, yeah, okay.
no, 100%, and it's
Not
weird.
even a funny story.
No, it isn't. But well, the funny thing about that was, that's when I found out that COVID was kind of like, I mean, pretty much ran rampant. Now, my wife was telling me as I was heading to work, like, be safe and everything. She started, sounding the horn pretty, I mean, pretty pronouncedly around this time last year, right? Just be safe. December happened, January, whatever. And then I think I was literally in my car at work like maybe 2 days before the lights out deal, and I think it was that Monday. Lights out was supposed to be March 13th, Friday the 13th,
Hey, you
and
got some good memory. Fudge.
yeah, it's something. It's something. It only works for MMA. It doesn't work for a lot of other things. So I'm
I
just
don't
saying.
even know what day it is today.
Hey, it's COVID times. It's COVID day. Just saying. But essentially, what happened was, like, I think Monday of that week, the NBA shut down, and I was like literally right out front of Staples Center when I heard that. Then, funny enough, I met with Steve Bash that Wednesday, which had to be about the 10th, right? Steve Bash that went, or not even the 10th, maybe the 11th, right? And he was like, yeah, come down and cover weigh-ins, right? So I'm like, right, weigh-ins is the day before, Thursday the 12th. And I get up to Commerce Casino, right? And I know where it is, been to countless lights out fights, countless star MMA fights, as yourself, right? And we know where to go, right? So when I go there and there's like literally nothing, right? No setup, not even chairs and whatever. I'm like, what the fudge? Then I look on the lights out deal, and where I am, like, it's a 20-minute drive down the 5. Like, I just jump on the freeway, 20 minutes, I'm in Commerce, right? So in the 20 minutes that it took me to get from my house to Commerce Casino, it shut down because it said literally 17 minutes, right? That's me pulling out my drive, 17 minutes from when I arrived at Commerce Casino, that according to Andy Foster and CSAC, all live events have been suspended. And it was only supposed to be a month or 3 months. But, I mean, little did we know, my goodness.
Yeah, freaking it. Got us good. Got all of us good.
I'm just saying. But, I mean, speaking of people who's got you, Shaman Steve says, I like Ron. I do too. I like Shaman Steve as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Some Princess Diana weaving, and that first week of COVID was just insane. And Nate Wren, I mean, he runs Podium Sports and covers a lot of boxing and MMA and pro wrestling. So I mean, it was something that was kind of weird for everyone. So I mean, obviously, wait. First off, I gotta ask, What was the soul food place that you guys went to?
Fudge. You know what? I forgot the name of it. It's a popular place. I don't want to throw out a name because it's gonna just sound super racist.
Was it like Aunt Jemima's, Uncle
Yeah,
Ben's
I
house?
was thinking like it was like Gus's Kitchen or something.
Oh,
Gus's Soul Food
Gus's.
Kitchen. Or
Gus's is a place. Like there's one
is
on
it?
La Brea. Yeah, there's so
Fudge. I'm just like, damn. Am I just making up a
no,
black name or something?
no. And I dare I say it. I don't think Gus is a pronounced like ADOS name. Now, if you said like Laquashan or whatever, I'd be like, yo, dude, that's
Lucretia's collard
yeah. I'd be
greens and
like,
fried chicken.
I'd be like, hey man, let's go grab some fun.
I think you made that up.
No, I had they were my friend in third grade, but that's another story for another day. Anywho, but okay, so I mean, we talked about this fight, right? But I want to get into your first fight. Like, when did that occur, and at what point of your training was your first fight in? Like, was it a year or was it months?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. My first fight was after the 2 year mark. So I trained under De La O for about 2 years, and I also hooked up with a boxing coach at that time too. His name was Bruce Warren, and he had this place called WB Boxing. He recently just passed away. Yep.
Rest in peace, Bruce. Yeah,
Awesome dude. He was on dialysis for a long time, and I just remember when training with him, he was not supposed to do all the things he was doing. He wasn't supposed to eat junk food. He wasn't supposed to smoke, and he did that every single day in front of me while we were training. And his leg was like swollen. He's like, "Watch this, watch this." He would poke his leg, and there'd be a giant like imprint of his finger in his leg because that's how swollen he was as he was like eating Subway and chips and smoking cigarettes. I'm like, Bruce. I'm like, come on, man. And then yeah. But yeah, so I did boxing with Bruce and then jiu-jitsu over at De La O for a bit. And after about 2 years, he cleared me for my first fight. And it was at Ken Rose's gym in shoot, it's like in the middle of nowhere. Shoot, where is it called? I forget the city.
is it like Vacaville? No, not that's too far north.
No, it was far
Victor
though.
Victorville, no?
No, I forget the town. I'll probably remember it when this is all over.
That's a good time to remember. That's a good time to remember.
Perfect timing. When the show's over, I also remember that restaurant too. Don't worry about it.
Ah!
But it was at Ken Rose's Muay Thai gym, and so we drove all the way down there, and it was a smoker. And back it was before CSAC was cracking down on smoker events, and so you could pretty much do whatever you want. It was a full rules fight. It was dope. And I ended up, I think, one of Ken Rose's guys, I believe, and it was awesome. It was the most fun I've ever had in my life, and I was hitting the guy so much that my left hand got swollen because I was hitting him properly. I was just like, whoa, 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 like, and you're not supposed to hit like that. So I was just clubbing him with like essentially my thumb joint, and so there was a doctor on site, thankfully, and I didn't know how to pace myself, so I ended up getting like, what's it called?
Blown up.
Oh yeah, my hand blew up, but like I was hyperventilating because
Yeah.
I was pushing my cardio way too hard because I was trying to kill him. And the doctor didn't have any equipment with him, so he found a stick and some tape, and he made a splint for me for my hand. And then so I was walking around the whole night with a stick splint with duct tape around my hand to make sure that I would keep my hand still. And to this day, like I still have a giant bump in my hand. I mean, you can't see it, but if you compare it to I can't even see it. But if you compare it to my other hand, it's like a completely different shape than my right hand.
I thought you were doing the hand puppet gimmick. Yeah, all right. That's cool.
I mean, that night he was hungry. I was feeding him somebody's face.
Hey, there you go. Man.
But yeah, that was my first fight ever. And it always pops up in my Facebook memories, which is really cool. I remember having like super long red shorts, and then I had this No Wimps. Remember that brand? No Wimps?
Yes.
I had a big old like No Wimps across my chest and a sweater, and then the photo even had Casey and Ron Turner in the photo too. So it was pretty cool to reflect that, 15 years later, they're still in my life, even though we're not at the same gym anymore.
Yeah, but sometimes logistically you're further away, but sometimes you are a little bit closer than even you would give yourself credit for.
Yeah, I mean, where the cool part about fighting is when you punch somebody in the face, on a regular basis, like you're pretty much friends for life.
Yeah,
I could not see these guys for 20 years and remember it's like, ah, dude, how's it going, son? Remember when you freaking stopped the blood flow to my brain? You know, so
yeah.
it's a cool thing.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, that's something I always think about, right? Like, my favorite my favorite part of any fight that I watch, whether on TV or live at events, is after when that final bell rings and everybody's all hugging and everything. Because, like, again, there's nobody, even your closest sibling, your parents, your spouses, right, are not gonna know what you went through than the person standing across from the cage or ring from you. So that's a bond that is, I think, it's unforshakable.
Yep. I mean, I even have a thing where, if they want to, sometimes they don't. I always try to buy a drink for my opponents after the fight, win or lose. But, sometimes you can't find them or sometimes they don't want to talk to you. And that's okay too, because everybody handles fights differently.
Yeah.
Um, but when possible, I try to buy them a drink just to, say thank you for, taking the time to come out and whatnot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, Nate Wren giving some clarification. Look at
Newberry Park.
Newberry Park. There you
That's
go.
the one.
Thank you, Nate
Dang,
Wren.
Nate. Freaking good.
Yeah, man. Again, he's one of the best in the biz, covering boxing
Gosh.
and everything. So check out Podium Sports on all of the social medias. You'll be good. You'll be glad you did. You can thank me later.
That
Just
is the
saying.
most natural plug I've ever
Just
heard.
saying.
You're
Hey,
good.
wait. I was gonna say, like, that's what we do on this podcast is plug our friends, and that didn't sound right. So I'm just saying.
You're doing what
But
to them?
I'm just plug them. I don't know. Plug their projects. Plug their. Yeah. Anyway. Um,
Moving on.
yes. Moving on. That's a awkward crescendo. But after that first fight, what did you learn about yourself? I mean, obviously you're giddy to the sense that you hyperventilated on your own accord, right? Because you were smashing this person's rib area and midsection. And it's funny too because you're like, ah, man, I was trying to kill him. And again, these are euphemisms that, like, they exist in MMA and they're tolerable in MMA and combat sports. But, like, if you get in, like, yo, that dude on the street, I'm gonna kill him, or I'm in a
Yeah.
room full of killers, and it's just like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Completely unacceptable outside of the ring.
yes, absolutely, or the gym,
Yeah.
which he says you're all class in terms of buying your opponent drink afterwards. I mean, you gotta have one. I'm just saying. So yes, so that is one thing that Ron is all class, and your class. I sound really weird. Thank you, Nate. 100%. 100%. I hear that literally every night for 15 years because I'm married. But anyway, um, so what did you learn about yourself after that first one? I mean, obviously, in terms of comparability, you knew what the Ultimate Fighter looked like. You had been watching UFC and other MMA promotions prior to that, and then you're training under both John De La O as well as Bruce Warren. So, like, what did you learn? And I mean, did it meet the expectations that you had?
Oh yeah. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. Adrenaline, I was dying. Like afterwards I couldn't even breathe. Like I've never overly exhausted myself before. Even during training, I've never pushed myself to a point where like I had trouble like breathing. It was weird. Like the point of just exhaustion. Like even to this day, I don't even think I can do it just because I know not to, I guess. Like I can push myself pretty hard, but never to the point where I can't operate afterwards. You know, and so it was a wonderful experience, and it's something that I will always remember every fight. It's been actually fighting somebody without restriction for the most part, and having like being able to hit somebody as hard as you want without restriction, and then having them with the same ability to hit you even keel is one of the most unique experiences I'll ever have in my life. And I've been really fortunate to have a lot of experiences, but nothing beats being trapped in a cage or a ring with somebody and both having complete discretion on how you want to hurt each other. And then being okay and being cool with each other afterwards with no anger or resentment.
Yeah, I think that's cool. That's cool. And again, the life of a fighter. That's it. I mean, we saw it um, even pretty recently with Anthony Burchank versus Gustavo Lopez. Right? They were friends. They were teammates.
Mhm.
And they just like. I kind of relate it to Play to the Bone, that movie with Woody Harrelson and Antonio Banderas, or like they're both kind of like, looking for one more fight, and they're roommates with each other and training together, and then they get the fight, and it's a big money fight, but it's against each other, and
No
it's a
big
fun,
deal.
yeah, no big deal, no biggie, which Tilt Brooke says, great interview. Question, thank you, Tilt. But question, have you guys heard of MMA fighter Glacio Elizario? I feel like you guys would match up well together. Have you heard of him?
I haven't personally matching up as far as an opponent. I
Yeah,
would assume so. Yeah. I
yes.
mean, if he's at 25 or 35 or 45.
Yeah, so I'm getting a little bit of, so essentially, Glacio is a Brazilian fighter. His nickname is Salva Mar. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing it right, but is he's 9-6, and he trains out of Nova Unao, Jose Aldo's gym.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that should be fun.
I'd say so. And he just the last time that he competed was actually at LFA 88, where he lost to Aaron McKenzie, and that was in August of this year. So
Fudge, you are
there
up
again,
to date on everything.
just hey man, as hard as you guys and gals work, I have to work just the same, if not harder. So
Woo!
just saying.
You're on it. Love it. Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't, I don't get the privilege, nor do I care to pick and choose who I get to fight. Pretty much, my coach is like, "Hey, who you fight? This is who you're fighting. This is when you're fighting. You cool?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." Even for this last minute fight for Versus, it was like 2 weeks notice, and then he was like, "Hey, how in shape are you?" I'm like, I'm doing okay. I'm not tip top shape, but I'm okay. He's like, "You want to fight in 2 weeks?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Cool. I knew you'd say that because I already said yes." I'm like, "Okay."
That's Colin Oyama, kind of Bushido mindset, and that's why that you know guys like yourself, guys like Christian Aguilera. I mean, your teammate Alex Perez is fighting for a UFC world title in a
Hmm.
couple weeks, right?
Yep,
Ashley
yep.
Evans
He's
Smith.
getting a world title in a couple weeks.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that. But yeah, but it's just crazy. That's that mindset. And then also talk about an OG in Colin Oyama, but also Manolo Hernandez. El Hurricane, as he likes to call himself. I mean, he's an OG too. And obviously down there at the San Diego Combat Academy and 10th Planet Jiu Jitsu Freaks. And again, that 10th Planet kind of kind of exudes your career. It encompasses your career pretty soundly.
Yeah, they're connected with everybody.
Absolutely, like a tentacle, like a tentacle. Now, in terms of hooking up with Team Oyama, like at what point in your MMA career did that happen, and why?
So there was a point at the obviously the 6 7 year mark. I wasn't really getting any fights or anything like that. And then so I was searching around, and for me it was really, really tough. I cried for that one too. um, and I found I was reaching out there, and a few gyms invited me out, and Team Uyama was the first one I came to, and then so I went out there, and they ended up, having the resources that I needed to get as far as I wanted to go, access from the smaller shows to the bigger shows. At the time there wasn't any UFC division for my weight class, so WEC was the one, and
Hmm.
so they had Ian McCall and guys like that in there already, you know, um, being pretty relevant in there. And so that was my ticket into a bigger show. And so the first day I went to Team Uyama, they freaking wrecked my legs. My legs were black and purple for like a good 3 months before I learned how to check a kick. Um, and then so I already knew from the first day I didn't even bother going to the other gyms. I was like, "Yep, this is the spot. How much is it? Where do I sign up? Et cetera, et cetera." And then I've been with them ever since. Now it's like we're at the 8 year mark. Yeah.
That's crazy. Which I mean, those are whether it be De La or Jiu Jitsu and now Team Oyama, like those are pretty notables because I mean, you mentioned Ron Turner as well as Casey Halstead, but I mean Henry Corrales who just won at Bellator. I
Mhm.
mean, he's in that lineage, and I think it's a bit of a series of fortunate events, right? And then you get to Oyama. So who was there around 8 years ago when you first started with Oyama?
Shoot, when I was there around 8 years ago, and I just saw Henry a couple weeks ago, by the way, too, right before his fight. He came to Team Oyama for a video.
Yay!
Yeah, he had a cool endorsement deal with this company called Mad Rabbit. They do like tattoo aftercare and whatnot. Um, so it was pretty cool. I got to help them out with that. But I lost my train of thought.
No, in terms of like who is training
Oh
at
yeah,
Oyama?
who's there at the time? At the time it was Aaron Witherspoon when he was fighting for the title at King of the Cage.
Yes.
And I remember that was a very unique moment because when Aaron was fighting for the title, he was fighting my old coach, Thomas Kenny. And so it was a really strange transition because I trained at both gyms. And it's not like I'm a gym hopper. Those are the only two gyms I've ever trained at, And so to see my old coach fight my new teammate was very, very interesting. And then definitely the fight was hardcore. Like Thomas was like the huge favorite and the fan favorite and the everything favorite. And so when he lost, the whole crowd went silent. I remember it was so surreal. Like, and it was freezing outside. So Boba was like freezing, and it was like the spot at the time. Like that was like the hot spot for fighting. Uh, and like when he got finished, the whole crowd went silent, and everyone's like, usually when somebody gets finished, like people are cheering all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff, but the whole place was there for Tom, you know. And then that whole ordeal ensued. But we had Aaron Witherspoon, and then at that time Ian McCall came back. He disappeared for a little bit. I think he was
Wow.
on a hiatus or something like that. And then he made a comeback. And then we had Romy Adonza actively fighting. He was fighting for like a WBC title. Um, who else was fighting? There was Jed Lara, WBC fighter. Then who else? I think Rob Emerson was there.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a pretty solid crew. So it was pretty cool when I first started, and then the a, a lot of the fighters stayed, and then a bunch of other fighters came and gone, just like any other gym. But it was a pretty solid crew. We had like 30 guys like training like daily on a month.
Well, happened. Something happened with your audio.
Oh, I think I put
Oh,
my finger. I put my finger over the microphone hole. That was all
yes.
me.
Yeah.
My bad.
10 points. Don't put your fingers in the microphone hole, folks. I'm just saying. Unless, I mean, consent is always sexy.
Unless
Anyway,
it's a plug.
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what we do here too. Anywho, but I mean, it's kind of cool, right? Because you're kind of the link that ties both lineages, almost like the kind of the old school kind of Oyama team versus like the new school, because like you've got the aforementioned Carlos Barza, Ashley Evans Smith, Crispin Aguilera, Alex Perez. Like you kind of saw all of these people kind of come in, right?
Yeah, it was cool. I remember. Well, Carla's been there from day one. Like she's gone nowhere else. Like Coach Colin Oyama. Uh-oh.
Hey,
What
there
happened?
he is.
There you go. Yeah, he literally scouted her and found her right from college, and then is still here with her to this very day. From when she had her first fight to when she won her first UFC title, to now when she's like literally backing title contention. Freaking craziness.
Yeah,
So
and she's a pioneer that I think gets overlooked when people call like that they say champ. I like to say double champion, but you can't be the first twice, and she's found a way to do it. First Invicta strawweight champion, first UFC strawweight champion. So that's a pretty important lineage.
yep, and first female Ultimate Fighter winner.
Yes, this is true. This is
Yeah,
true.
she's definitely made some history. She definitely needs more credit than she gets. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Now, John says, Ron, head over and grab your package. Apparently, you got something.
Oh,
Yeah. So, are we gonna go to the door and see now?
yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, if it's like Unabomber type thing, like maybe it might not be good to walk over and check it out, but I mean, let's see what the hell is up there. Like
Actually,
I'm
you know what? I don't know how much time we have for the podcast, but maybe I will drive over there right now
dun
and see
dun
what this
dun
package is while we're
dun dun.
chatting.
Dun. There you go. So anywho, so in terms of like kind of being, one of the I guess the constants of Team Oyama. Like, what has Colin Oyama meant to you in terms of your training, your self confidence, and I mean, you're a husband and a father as well. Like, what, where do you draw the most inspiration from Colin?
Everything. I mean, he's a father figure to me. You know, throughout my life, I've gathered a collection of role models. You know, even to this day, every single day. You know, and he's definitely one of them. You know, he gave me an opportunity to make fighting a career. You know, he gave me the opportunity to become a general manager of Team Oyama, and he's martial arts. In part to him too as well as given me the work ethic, the discipline, the confidence to do anything and everything that I want to. I mean, he pushes dreams so hard that even to this day, if I decide I want to be a thimble maker, I have no doubt that I can make the best thimbles in the world. And I don't know why I said thimbles, but
Fuck, that's an actual career. I never really thought about it,
I don't know.
but
It's
I
complete.
think
I
I might
completely.
take up thimble making. That's what I'm. I mean, this podcasting, it's great and everything, but I think I might have to pick up the thimble making kind of I don't know. I don't even know what the hell you would need to be a thimble maker, but that sounds pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than like knitting and then getting a nail right in your thumb. It's just a day ruiner.
So you're thinking more rubber thimble than metallic ones? Maybe
I
I'm
would I
just
would I would say metal. I'm very nostalgic.
yeah,
I like that classic traditional thimble.
like the Monopoly piece.
Yep,
Like that's
exactly.
yeah.
This subject has gone way too far.
Oh yes, but I think I'm gonna go look on
Car,
Craigslist
I'm
and
literally
see
gonna
if
go
there's
pick up whatever
any.
this package is from my friend shop.
Uh oh. Oh, okay. So we might even get a John Tran run in here. So this is fantastic. Now, anyway, um, now in terms of you were talking about like life and career and even goals, right? That Colin Oyama has been there throughout. So, like, what goals do you still have? Like, what keeps you still doing this? I mean, almost 20 years in.
Yeah, the literally he's got so much influence in my life that all he has to say is, "Hey, you still got this, and I will continue to fight forever." It's simple as that. One sentence from him will keep that fire going because I mean, he thinks I can do it. A trainer to multiple world champions, then for sure I can do it. And that's the type of inspiration that he puts not just in me, but everybody at the team. I mean, even Alex when he came in, he had no stand-up game whatsoever. His hands were horrible. You know, and now he's a machine.
Right.
I've been fortunate to see him when the first day he came in, when he was just staying here for like 1 or 2 weeks at a time and then driving back to Lemoore, to now just moving his whole life down here, and on the cusp of a world title. The world title, not any, like the world title. So it's been really cool to see his transformation. I'm happy to say that he's not just a wrestler anymore. Like, he will F you up on the feet.
Yeah, no, 100%. Which makes this like this Davidson Federado match kind of it makes it interesting. Now, I mean, total disclosure, it's not just because Alex is a friend and a former guest, much like yourself on the Jim Crashers podcast, but I mean, Federado is not a likable dude, right? So that first title fight, he misses weight, right? Then we basically get a scenario of a one-way title switch, right? If Justin Benavidez beats him, he wins the championship. If Federado wins, he gets nothing, right? And plus, like 30% of his purse taken away, right? And then we have a rematch, and I will obviously the first one went Federado's way, and he talked all types of head. He talked like way too much, right? Like just all types of smack. Then we get round 2 in Fight Island, and we're like, damn, Benavidez, come on, let's do this, man. A WEC veteran, let's try and make it work, right? And obviously, his wife, Megan O'Leary, was there off duty, but was there on Fight Island with him. And, Fedorito wins again. And I'm not to say that I against the fighter winning, but he's damn unlikable. Just according to Woods. You don't have to say it, but he isn't. So that makes, for me, Alex Perez winning the title mean a little bit more.
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna be super sweet. Yeah, I think Figueiredo, he definitely looks cool in the highlight videos though, because he'd be knocking everybody out. But yeah, personality wise, I think it just seems like he doesn't care. He's like, I'm out there to freaking wreck everybody. I don't care how I do it. I'm gonna just try my best and I'm gonna do it. So I'm happy to see Alex get the opportunity to kind of change that narrative. So the destroyer gets beat by the decision.
I mean, that's a dude. Why aren't you working in the UFC promo department? That is damn good. I can see that on the flyer.
It is, but you know what? Right off the bat, they had to get rid of his nickname because nobody wants to watch anybody called the Decision fight. So you'll notice that they don't call him the Decision anymore.
This is true. That's funny.
Can you imagine? I can't wait for him to go to Decision.
Oh man. I mean, if you've got a call to arms, I mean, I think you should do it. I mean, which, by the way, have you ever had a nickname?
No. I've had my last name mispronounced, and then I've had my last name as a nickname, which is pretty weird. But no actual official fight name. Yeah, I've been called like Ron Dancoles. And then I think in one of my recent fights, they're like, Ron Scolesdang. I'm like, okay. My last name is also my fight name.
That's it. That's almost like the John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name is my name too. But instead of his, your name is your name too. Did you know that your name is Ron Scolesdang?
Yes.
I'm just saying, like, we're breaking news here, man. This is fantastic. So I got to ask. So, what is your prediction? Because obviously, Alex Perez came in as a wrestler, consummate wrestler from the Central Valley of California, and now he's, increased his stand-up acumen infinitely. So, what say you in terms of how Alex Perez wins his title?
I think he wins by TKO.
You want to put a round to it?
I'll put it in round 3.
Round 3.
No, take it back. Round 4.
Okay. Deep waters.
Yes, I'll say why too, because I think Alex is going to have the pressure to push his cardio pace, and he's not going to be able to handle the pressure. And number 2, he's going to be tired in round 4, and Alex will just keep on grinding and moving forward.
I like it. 100%.
That's what I'm going with.
No, I like it. I totally like it, And again, we're going into championship rounds, so yeah, round 4 sounds really damn good. That means we're gonna get a hell of a flyweight title fight.
Yep, and I'm gonna have a freaking heart attack all the way too.
Which I gotta ask, right? So you're general manager at Team Oyama and a fighter as well as a teammate. You see what your teammates go through as they do you. What is tougher? Them kind of being there for your fights, or you being there for their fights?
Well, for me, in the actual fight is easy. It's just the fun part. All the hard work is the weight cutting, the waiting in the locker room before the fight, and then just the prep work for it. I get more nervous sitting and watching, see what happens, because as you know, especially me, you're always one punch away from getting knocked out unconscious, or one small mistake away from breaking a limb or getting choked the F out. And so you have no control over somebody else's actions. I have control over my actions. So if I lose, I know it's because I messed up. If somebody else loses, I have no control over that whatsoever. That uncertainty gives me a ton of anxiety.
Yeah, man. That's the crazy thing about fight sports. It's everybody's got a puncher's chance, and you could MMA math and this person trained here and has this credentials or whatever. But what essentially will happen is, anybody has a puncher's chance. I think the best scenario that happened, subjective is best, but when King Mo basically came over to Bellator from Strikeforce, and they put him in the tournaments and everything like that, and he gets KO'd with like the world's slowest spinning back fist by Emmanuel Newton, and just think, and all the wrestling that King Mo has, all the knockouts that he had up until that point, meant absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that was great. And that's another side note too, because Emmanuel is a local dude, and it was cool to see him kind of rise up and freaking kind of blow up in Bellator. So that was pretty cool to see.
Yep, he went all the way to the end and won himself a championship for his efforts.
Yep. Super happy for him.
Absolutely. Shout out to Emmanuel Newton. And I just love that he's a American descendant of slave gentlemen, but he's not ashamed to share his love of all things punk rock and everything. And he did it skanks after every victory. He's like I think it's like the hardcore kid or something like that. Something like that. But he likes punk rock music, which I like.
Yeah. Cool dude. Super cool dude.
Yes, he is. Now, Nate Red says, Ron split decision Scolesdang.
Oh, breaks my heart.
Oof.
Though I would say if it was something, if you want to have an accurate fight name, I'd probably be Ron knock someone out or get knocked out, Scolesdang.
Okay.
That's been kind of my knock or get knocked out. Yeah. My two losses have been by freaking TKO. Freaking sucks.
Yeah.
Or all my losses, yeah. All my stoppage. Oh, except for one is a split decision. Never mind. I take that back.
So at least in one fight, that's split decision. And Nate says, to clarify, it would be very ironic because he likes to win by
it's kind of like Little John, Big Ron. Okay, I get it.
Like if John McCarthy just in his retirement started calling himself Little John McCarthy,
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
All right, so in terms of people, obviously you're the general manager at Team Oyama, right? So who is coming up through the pipeline that maybe a lot of us in the MMA lithosphere or casuals that haven't heard? Who do you think is like one to watch in terms
I would
of
say,
your teammate?
we got a bunch of up and comers. Like everybody is like almost there. I would say right off the bat, I would say Fernando Padilla. He's fought in LFA and a bunch of other shows, and he's making some splash and buzz. But I think he's on the cusp of getting into the big show. He's almost there. He just needs like one or two more solid wins, and he's there. He's killing it. Amazing at grappling. His striking is there. He's super tall, long, and lanky. He's definitely one to watch. Like if he puts together a couple of good wins, I think he's there. Another person I think that is on the rise is Lisa Maldini. She's been a killer too. Striking is super crisp, great soul, hard worker. She's somebody to look out for. I think our whole girls team is killing it. We've got Brittany Cloudy. She's been killing it too. She's been putting in some good work and performances. She's fighting in LFA too as well. And then we got another girl named Flo. And she came here all the way from Tahiti, and I think she's fighting in LFA too as well, like super soon. I think on the 20th or something. And and she's gonna put on a good show. Her style reminds me of I just brain farted. What's her name? She just fought. She's super aggressive in the UFC. She fought Carla before too as well.
Not Rose. Is it Rose?
No, not Rose. She's kind of shorter and thicker. She's super aggressive. It's not Claudia. It's
oh god, I'm blanking too.
Yeah, I'll remember after this is over.
Yeah, that's a good time to remember. 100%. And for those who don't know, because you alluded to it, you can catch Flor Alto Heine on this very podcast tomorrow.
Oh.
Yep, there you go. As well as Brittany Cloudy at noon Pacific Standard Time on Sunday. So there you go.
I'll just give you a heads up. Flo has a very heavy French accent. Please give her a hard time.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm part. I mean, she's more French Polynesia. I'm more Melanesia and Fijian. So, I mean, we'll have a good time. I mean, it's funny. So, another Tahitian fighter, run Rahire Dudes, or Dude, as I like to call him, who's fighting for LFA soon enough. We actually did one of these right from Tahiti on Sunday. So,
Oh, snap. That's
yeah.
cool.
So, I know to give him a hard time. Absolutely. You should have been British colonized, but you're colonized by the French. Ha ha. Boo.
Hey, look at you with your Asian history.
I'm just saying. Uh,
For those that didn't know, the French used to occupy Vietnam back in the day. Which
yes,
is why you see influences in things as banh mi, where they utilize a French baguette in their sandwiches.
yes. Or I was gonna say, I mean, do you prefer coffee or tea in the morning?
Me personally, I drink. I'm on this matcha tea right now from this company called Junbi,
Okay.
and they have this hardcore green tea matcha thingy that I drink, and it's quite refreshing. But not because I need caffeine, just because it just kind of just gives me a nice like refreshing start to a day. But coffee, I don't really need caffeine because I'm like overly awake all day long.
You what? Like I thought you'd be like Snorlax and everything. Like you just like stay in one place all the time.
No, I'm on. Yeah, I'm moving all day long, and then I'm like juggling the kid throughout the day too as well. And so, yeah, it's weird. I've never really had to drink coffee. If I do drink coffee, it's because it tastes good. But yeah, I mean the Café Soda, the condensed Vietnamese black coffee is potent and delicious. But I can't really hang because it makes me like shiver. I get like twitchy.
Ooh, that's never
So
good.
we've made it far enough in this podcast to stop by my friend's house to see what this package is.
Yes, John. Ron. I
Oh,
mean,
look at that.
yeah, there you go. So we're gonna see a John Tran run-in
So random. Hello.
in one place.
I was like, I'm lucky. So he got this random package.
Let's see.
Oh, I'm still on the podcast.
Yeah.
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 So this is my friend John.
Hey, John.
Hey,
Oh.
Bob, let's go.
So
What's
let's see what this
good?
is
What's
about.
good?
What is this package
What is
that
this
he's talking
package?
about? Let's find out. Dun, dun. Oh!
What we got? What we got?
What is
Never
this?
had A5. That's A5.
That is A5 Japanese Wagyu.
Whoa!
Look at that marbling.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness!
snap.
Is that hey, John? Like
Bone marrow?
Oh, that's
I don't know what's in here. There's a box. There's a box
Stone crab claws.
of stone crab claws.
Oh my gosh! Somebody's not cutting weight.
Hey, I'm not fighting
We
anymore.
ain't
F
fighting
it.
no more.
I ain't fighting no more.
Oh my god! Are they alive? Is that what's going on?
Oh no, they're cooked. They're cooked.
I didn't feel like kicking today, so I had him steam it for me.
See that? The good life.
Hey.
They
Oh
steam
my
it for
gosh.
him.
John Tran.
Must be nice.
Must be nice.
We need to be friends. We need to be friends. Just saying.
Woo! Heck
So,
yeah.
Sweet.
Now that
Okay,
we're
I
here
gotta go back to work soon.
at like
yeah,
bone
that's not
marrow
good.
and wagyu and stone crab, what is
No big deal. Just another Thursday.
just another Thursday? So, what is your go-to post-fight meal? I mean, we definitely talked about the soul food and everything, but like, what is the perfect post-fight meal?
For me,
Yeah.
usually post weigh-in, I'll eat pasta, like Italian food usually, but it doesn't have to be like crazy high quality. It could be like Pizza Hut. I could get that pasta tub with like stuffed crust pizza. And so nothing too crazy. Just eating a lot, but the biggest thing is staying hydrated. I think that's the toughest part about post weigh-ins is rehydrating properly, because you've got to gain like 15 pounds of liquid.
You bringing this home, right?
Yeah. No. 100%.
I am.
100%.
Thank you.
No, like you can't leave it in your car.
Now,
Oh shoot! I'll bring in the fridge at my gym.
Yeah.
Thank you.
now, before we let you go, right? Because you guys are eating. In terms of like favorite movie, right? Favorite movie? Do you have one, and what is it?
Ooh, Favorite movie? That's tough. You know why? Because I don't really watch TV that much or listen to music. I have like no culture.
According to which podcast? What? What?
This is very silly, but the I don't know why, but the movie that comes to mind right now is Super Troopers.
Okay, that's fine.
I like it. It's funny.
Hashtag thin blue line and all that jazz. I mean,
Yeah, comedy movies and whatnot. But yeah, it's really weird. I even because I teach classes, and so I don't even have a specific playlist. I just put in workout music or hit music or whatnot. And
okay.
people are like, "Dude, good playlist. What is it?" I'm like, "It's the cardio kickboxing channel."
Ah, wow. What is the one song that you're amazed that people kind of vibe to and are willing to like? Is there a Britney Spears remix that people like smacking each other's faces to?
Well, if I'm by myself and I'm training, I take it back. I do listen to music, but by myself, I listen to classical music. But
Okay.
nobody wants to listen to that during class. Nobody will show up. So when I'm by myself and I'm trying to zen out, I'll listen to like a little Yoruma, a little piano and whatnot, and then I'll kind of just zen out and just like shadow box or hit the bag or whatever. But that's like when nobody's around. Otherwise, I get some massive crap from people when they hear what I train to.
Massive crap. That might be an illusion of what you're going to have after the Wagyu, the bone marrow, and stone grab. I'm just saying. Okay. So, uh, obviously, before we head out, obviously, I want you to plug your social medias, but your social medias are awesome, and you kind
Thank
of
you.
you definitely have it. You're putting out instructionals and all this stuff. So, what was the conscious decision? Because right now, 2020, people are trying to figure and reevaluate a lot of things in their life, right? And this is one thing that you've been able to do. You're not just a fighter; you're an instructor. You're all these things. So, how did the thought come to transforming your social media pages into kind of this instructional place for people to come to?
Yeah, I so it happened about 5 years ago. So I got into the social media game kind of late, but about 5 years ago. So I've been personal training for like forever now. And 5 years ago, I ran into some social media influencers. So I ran into a guy named Fam Flex, and he was like really popular in the fitness industry. And then I also ran into my buddy Calvin, which runs this. He runs this advertising and marketing agency. And so when I trained both of them, they're like, "Dude, why aren't you on like social media more?" I was like, "I don't know, because I just talk to people face to face in person." I was like super old school, and like, "Dude, you're missing out. Like, you should really bank on this. It's on fire." And I'm like, okay. So they gave me like a general game plan, and I followed it. And then it took about 5 years, but then I ended up gaining about like 10,000 followers like every year, which is pretty cool. And then it ended up working out. And social media has like my major goal is to not make money. Like, of course, money is very important, but I just want to make the world better through my vessel, which is martial arts. And so before social media, I was helping everybody on a case by case scenario, but now I'm able to reach like thousands of people. And it's cool. I get messages from people like, "Hey, thank you so much. I didn't get into martial arts or fighting, until like I saw your stuff." I was like, "Dude, thank you for letting me take a small part in your journey." So it's been amazing to see the effect that social media has had on my career. Now I'm going to apply it to everything else I do in life.
I love it. Now, obviously, there's been so many people that have helped you out along the way and been an influence in your life, much like you are doing to so many people via your social media pages. So let's get some shout outs out of the way, my man.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. First and foremost, my family, for putting up with me and just letting me do everything. My wifey April. I don't have to share her social handle, but and my son Renzo, and then definitely my dog. They're the base. They're the foundation of everything. No matter what I do, I end up coming back home. When I come home, they're my rock. They're what I come home to. Whether I win a fight, lose a fight, make money, lose money. They're there to kind of give me a hug, pat me on the back, and give me the encouragement I need to keep going forward. And then definitely my head coach Colin Oyama has guided me, in my career to take me this far. Um, Without him, I definitely wouldn't get this far. Give me the opportunity at Team Oyama in Irvine. For all the social handles, you can literally just kind of just search the names and their handles will pop up. Even for this fight, like it's crazy. I'm fighting in local shows, and they, Some of them are on TV, some of them are not. But like, you don't get major sponsors until you get in the UFC, you know. And so I've been really fortunate to have like a bunch of friends that sponsor my camps and whatnot, even for smaller shows, you know. And so like even for this fight camp, I had a bunch of sponsors for this fight that provided me everything I needed to make sure that I can kind of get through it comfortably, you know. And so definitely want to give a shout out to those guys. Mad Rabbit, which I did that very natural plug earlier, you know, when Henry Corrales came by. They do After Tattoo Care. Tog, the Army Law Group, he's my personal friend and lawyer, and so he's handled everything from my businesses to my personal stuff to make sure that everything is in line. I'm protected, you know. Lace and Loop, which is my own company, I do like combat sports accessories, which is cool. We created a strap that makes it so you can lace up your own boxing gloves. What else we got? We got the Soul Right. We've got Compex. We've got SoCal Dabbers, and so they do cannabis like related like healing stuff and whatnot. I don't, you know, it's going to take like 30 minutes for me to list everybody off, but maybe I could do a post podcast and then send it all out to everybody, especially when I share this podcast with everybody.
Hell yeah, do that. Absolutely. I'd love it. I'm going to post it and everything. And if they are looking to sponsor a podcast, I'm just saying, I might know one.
Okay,
I might know
done.
one.
You know what? I will find you a sponsor today. We will get one
Woo!
confirmed. Done.
Woo! Woo! That's
Done.
it. Ron Scolesdang, everyone. He is amazing. And again, for those who want to join the community that is 20,000 plus strong, where can they find you on social media, my man?
Ooh, if you guys want to find me on any social media, just type in Scolesdang because it's a made-up name. Nobody else has it except like 3 other people in the world. But you just literally look at Scolesdang. That's it. SCOLESDANG. It's in the game.
Yeah, EA Sports. I love it. Dude, thank you so much. You are awesome. Shout out to John Tran for hooking you up.
Yeah, with the A5. That's a friend. My goodness.
I'm just saying. And again, I might slide into those DMs and get friendly.
Oh, hey, you need a sponsor right now?
Yeah.
A sponsor right now. Here we go.
All right. What's good?
Done. It's getting locked down. So you'll have a new sponsor by next week.
Hell yes.
Done.
Yeah, that's it, man. But,
he's got an awesome company called Uncharted Exotics. So he does CBT recovery goods as well as cannabis recovery products and whatnot.
Oh yes. All right. I will
Done.
post it, and yeah, damn right. Fuck, that's what Ron Scolesdang does. He makes things happen. So, dude, thank you so much for gracing us on the podcast, the aforementioned plugs and sponsorship. So, thank you so much, man, and just have a great day. And for those who haven't already done so, I did warmly encourage you to subscribe to According to Woods. I mean, Ron, you're subscribed, right?
Yes. No? Yes?
Yes. Yeah, yes. You should be. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean just
yes.
don't take yes, absolutely. But just don't take our word for it. Here's professional wrestler Zeta Zhang.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang. Make sure you subscribe.